I'm Donna Horning. I'm originally from Seattle, Washington. My majors are global affairs, security studies, and political science.
My name's Harrison Monsky. I'm a junior history major from New York, New York.
My name is Nikita Lalwani. I'm a junior English major originally from New York.
I applied to 8 different schools. I kind of went 2 different tracks because at the time I was actually intending to major in physics. So I looked at MIT and Caltech and Harvey Mudd and a bunch of tech schools actually, but I also looked at liberal arts colleges. And I determined during my college search that I really wanted to go to a liberal arts college, so I ended up switching some things halfway through. Did not ever think that I would get into Yale or Harvard or Stanford, but those were like my 3 reach schools, and I had gone to a summer program at Stanford. Thought I had my best chance there, and then in the end it was in fact the only school that out and out rejected me. So, but I'm super glad that I went to Yale because it's been a much, much better fit than that school would have been.
So I think with American schools, fit is a really key issue because communities are really strong, colleges have very strong identities, and they are different. And I think I was looking for a community and a personality behind a school that did fit, and a combination of a strong community with varied academic options. So one of the great things about being at a big university, that also has a strong college feel is that you can feel part of the community, but there are a huge number of options to choose from, especially if you haven't decided on what your core area of study is going to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that when you visit a college, you get a sense of what the people are like, what their passions are, if they're very friendly. And I think when I was looking at colleges, that was very important to me. Not only, the academics, whether or not I thought the classes and professors would be a good fit, but also whether or not I could see myself going to school with the people there.
Well, I'd say number one, I do some serious research about which test you want to take, because the ACT and the SAT are suited to different types of people and different types of minds, and it's really possible to be stronger on one test. So I definitely think it's worth doing the homework there. And then the second thing is that with both of these tests, studying really pays off. So it doesn't mean that you have to be taking a class like a lot of folks do in the States, but it means that you can sit down with a couple of books and you can really raise your score. And I think colleges are just looking for people who have the determination and put in the time and effort to do that.
What I was always told was that your essay should really show your voice and that it should demonstrate your personality in some way. So I think it's important to write about an experience or a subject that's very important to you. And while I think it is definitely helpful to get other people's perspectives and ask parents, ask your teachers or your friends to look over your essay, I think in the end it's very important that your essay shows something about you and kind of, I think the college is trying to figure out if you're a good fit for that school, if you seem like someone that they would want to have at their university.
Well, all of mine were alumni interviews because I was so far afield from most of the schools I was applying for. And I actually really liked all of them. I ended up really having a better impression of all of the schools I interviewed for because I got to speak with the alum and I felt like they were all really positive conversations, and you definitely shouldn't be going into them with the mentality of like, this is an interview and is the make or break component of my application. And what I was reading about the college admissions process indicated that it is not a defining factor anyway. It's just about confirming that you are the great person that they already think you are on the application, pretty much. So it's a lot more about personality and your just ability to speak with them, I think. And they tend to be really cool people, so it's fun to ask them about themselves also. So I would try to not stress about it as much as possible, I guess. It was by far my favorite part of the process.
American schools care a lot about teacher recommendations, and I think it's really worth it to spend the time thinking about who knows you well, who knows you through your work, and who knows you personally. In terms of choosing those recommendations, because ultimately I think the best and most credible source of information about who you are sometimes comes from those teachers who know you best, who are writing a confidential recommendation.
Well, this is the stereotypical answer that everyone gives about Yale, but it's true, and it's the people. It's my peers, and it's the professors I've had the privilege of interacting with. I don't think it could really be replicated anywhere else, and I really love that about Yale.
Yeah, so I would say, in addition to talking about the real strong sense of community and belonging that I think everybody feels, in a lot of American schools, there's just huge amounts of variety and diversity in the things that you can do. I personally was on the crew team freshman year, took classes all over the university: computer science, architecture, history, politics, was in a play. An enormous number of things that you can do, and really very few limits on kind of the course that you end up taking.
I think in addition to both of those, what I found really great at Yale is the amazing support system that there is. Professors, residential colleges have masters and deans who are sort of charged with making sure that everything academically and socially is going okay for you. And then in extracurriculars, I've always found that upperclassmen are very willing to give advice, and that's been very great.